As we near the end of 2023, I figured it's about time I do another one of these tier list videos. Now, last year I ranked every single anime I've ever seen, and I think that would be a little absurd to do that again, so this year we're just going to rank everything I've seen basically since that tier list, so pretty much all of 2023 and maybe like December of 2022 a little bit as well. So because there's less shows to do this year, hopefully this video isn't like a half hour long this year. But anyways, let's just get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. And first up, we have, I think it's called Miss Vampire Lives in My Neighborhood, which I love how this is first because this is arguably probably one of, if not the worst show I watched this year. Although, again, it wasn't necessarily bad. It was just really average and really boring at times. So, I mean, I'm putting it C. And one thing that's nice, too, is because we have less shows, I can probably talk at least a little bit about them instead of just being like, this is good, this is bad, this is bad. But I pretty much just pulled out my tier list of all the shows I've watched, and I just purposely moved every show from this year up to the top. So, but I've mixed them up in a random order, so they shouldn't be like all my favorites first or anything. So next up, we got Zombieland Saga. Now this one I actually really liked. It was my introduction to idol shows, and that's kind of why I watched it in the first place, because I wanted to try out an idol show. I'd give it an A tier, solid A tier, I think. I don't remember if I used an S and S plus last year. I might have, but because there's less shows, we're just going to do, I think, S this year. But no, Zombieland Saga was really good. I mean, I watched it before, obviously, the other big idol anime of the year, as you can see over here, Oshinoko, but I watched this first. I really liked it. I mean, it wasn't like anything insane, but I mean, it was fun, and I liked it a lot. So, next up, we have Ore Shora. Now, this one's interesting because I do still have to finish it. I'm actually watching it as I'm making this video, but I definitely give it a solid A tier. I actually am really liking it. I'll try to sort the tiers by like best to worst, but it might be a little bit harder once the tiers start filling up. But at least for now, I think I'd put this above this, but I don't know. This is honestly being really good. It has like a 6.9 on my anime list, so I wasn't sure what to get out of it, but so far it's been really good, and I'm almost done with it, but I do have a little bit to go yet, but I really liked it. I really like it so far. Next up, Tonikawa, and I probably said the same thing last year. I don't know why, I just really cannot get into the show that much. I mean, it's not this level. It's probably B tier, but like, I just can't get into the show fully for some reason. And I guess if you haven't noticed yet, I do have some previous shows on this list, and that is because it is specifically referencing the new season. So in this case, Tonikawa Season 2, and I guess technically the spinoff, but I have a confession to make. I only watched 2 of the 4 episodes of the spinoff because I honestly got bored of it. So again, it's not a bad show. It's better than this for sure, but I just for some reason cannot get into Tonikawa, and I do not know why. I think it's just because there's not really tons of plot to it. And I know supposedly I think there is supposed to be stuff that happens like with Tsukasa and stuff, but at least so far in the anime almost nothing's happened. So that's my 2 cents for it. And next up, Danmachi. This is I'm trying to remember. I think season 4 part 1 came out last year, but season 4 part 2 came out in January of this year. So it makes sense to be on this list, but I mean overall I'd say low A tier, because at least in my opinion this has been like season 4 as a whole has been probably the best season of Danmachi, although I do forget a little bit of the earlier seasons because it's been like about 3 years since I've watched seasons 1 through 3. So but season 4 is pretty good, and it's got announced for season 5 now, so I guess it's gonna keep going. Spy Family is another interesting one, and obviously if you saw my last video, I honestly have mixed feelings on this show. The way I stand on the show is when there's actually kind of like Tonikawa, when there's plot, I really enjoy it. But when they just have like those stretches where they go like 5-6 episodes in a row of just like nothing and just like slice of life elements, it honestly bores me a little bit, and I hate saying that. So like, honestly, I think I'd rate it above Danmachi, but like, it's honestly low A tier for me. Now, again, the reason I did make the other video is those like 6 or 7 episodes for the cruise arc were honestly amazing, and that really raised my expectations. If season 2 would have just been all slice of life and no plot whatsoever, I'm not even joking, it might have been down here. But the cruise arc is really bumped this season up for me, so thank God for that, because again, it was not going in a good direction. Next up, we have Engage Kiss. Kind of debatable concept or like sound looking anime. I don't know, because it has to do, yeah, with kissing a little bit, but surprisingly, it was probably one of my biggest pleasant surprises of the year, at least in terms of shows I watched this year, because it's another show that I think was rated, I don't know, 6.7, 6.8, somewhere in that range on my anime list. So I was expecting it to be really like mid, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. Like, enjoyed it to the point where I think I'd actually rate it like somewhere up in here. I'll put it here for now, but it's definitely A tier. I really liked it. I mean, it's the plot was a little bit messy at times, so maybe that's why it has a bad rating. Maybe because again, people are like, "Ew, kissing, bad score," because that happened a few times. But one thing I found funny too is some of the animation sequences in this show were like crazy for just being like a really random show. It felt like. Anyways, let's move on to Shakugan no Shana. Or I never remember the English name, Burning Eyed Shana or something. It's somewhere down here too. I'll put it lower than Tonikawa. It's not as bad as this, but it's here. Now, again, confession, I only watched the first season of it and like 2 episodes of season 2 because again, it's another show I started watching and I don't know why. I just could not really get super into it for some reason, unfortunately. And that's kind of why I didn't watch it, because I'm like, it's like 72 episodes if you combine all 3 seasons. And I watched the first season, I was like, I don't know if I can sit through another 40 plus episodes of this. Like, again, it's not bad, but it's nothing like crazy. It's a pretty average show, at least in my opinion, for this time, like nowadays. This did originally air back in like 2005, so maybe back then I would have appreciated it a lot more, but I was like a few years old at the time, and I had no clue anime even existed, so basically this show was just me wanting to try to watch something a bit more nostalgic, and I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like completely right up my alley, I would say. Now we have Attack on Titan. Now, obviously, this is referring to the 2 big special episodes we got this year. And I mean, say all the bad stuff you want about Attack on Titan. The finale was absolutely insane. Like, I was like speechless for a while after watching it. I mean, especially like the second special of the finale, like the hour and 20 whatever minute long episode. It was just insane. I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but Attack on Titan can't be anything lower than S tier, I'm sorry. And the next one is going to cause some controversy, I'm sure, but this show, the Konosuba spinoff, I'm not even joking, is like here or here for me. Because I don't know why, I just really could not get into this. Like, I just could not get that into it. I'm just gonna be that guy and put it high C tier. Like, I don't know why. I just could not get into it. Like, it just felt really, really mad to me. Like, I think I'd much rather prefer to just watch the main Konosuba seasons. Like, I think we can all unanimously agree that the main seasons of Konosuba are better than this. But I don't know why. I just really could not get into this at all. And I'm just going to leave it at that before I start any more controversy. Next up, we have the Quintessential Quintuplets. Now, this might be a show I started in December of last year. I don't remember. But anyways, it wasn't on my list last year. It shouldn't have been. So, this is on here this year. And honestly, I really liked it a lot. It's definitely up here somewhere. Would I put it above Zombieland Saga? Probably. I mean, I really liked it. It was a fun, I guess, harem rom-com type show. I mean, it's not like it's anything absurd, but it was really fun. And, I mean, I watched the whole the 2 episodes and the movie. 2 seasons and the movie. I didn't watch the specials that aired over the summer yet, but, I mean, again, I'm pretty sure they're just, like, skipped over little mini stories, so I'm not really missing anything. But, I mean, I really liked it. And before I get asked, I always debate. I mean, I'm not anything like interesting. Of course, my 2 favorites are probably the 2 most popular, but I think if I had to pick one, I might go Nino and Miku second before I get asked who's my favorite. But yeah, I mean, I'm nothing. I'm just a typical guy who finds them as my top 2, but I think I'd go Nino number 1. Sorry for everyone else. Next up, we have another controversial show, but honestly really, really good, which is Onimai. Would I even put it above Quince? I honestly might. Like, no, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to, just for the fun of it. Like, it's another really, really, really controversial looking show, and I completely understand why a lot of people didn't watch it, and sometimes it makes me feel like I shouldn't have watched it. But for some reason, it is that good. Like, and I don't mean good because of weird stuff. No, like, it's just, like, legitimately a good show. I mean, it's another show I made a video on earlier this year, just because it's so good for how weird it looks for some reason. So, I mean, if you're able to put up with some weird moments here and there, I 100% would recommend checking out. And it's by the same studio that did Mushoku Tensei, so it's animated extremely well for like a slice of life show. Next up, we have Beast Tamer, which I think is like really the only kind of air quotes generic fantasy show I've watched this year, because I'm usually not a big person for like fantasy and isekai shows unless they're like really good. And that's the only reason I watched this, just because I was like, you know what, I barely ever watch them. I just want to watch a random fantasy show that like I know is not going to blow my mind off, and that's exactly what this was. And I honestly enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I think that's just because I barely ever watch these type of shows. Honestly, either high B or low A tier, I would say. I'll put it high B tier just to like balance the tiers out a little bit more, but honestly, it could be like low A tier, like somewhere in, maybe not, no, probably not above those, but like maybe in here, maybe like here. But I'll put it high B just to balance the tiers out. And next up, we have 86. Oh god. I mean, it doesn't beat the Attack on Titan finale, but 86 was absolutely insane. Now, the thing with 86 is I wouldn't say that, like, every single episode was insane, but, like, it had some moments that I think have just become, like, especially if you've seen the whole show, the finale scene from, like, the second half of the season, the very, very finale scene, I think that's probably solidified itself as, like, a top, maybe even, like, 5 scene of all time for me in anime. That scene made me lose it. I mean, it's had some other scenes too, and just the overall like message and story of it's just really good, I think, and like a really serious story. I really loved it a lot. I mean, it's definitely S tier for me. Although, unfortunately, I don't think it beats out the finale for this show. Okay, we're getting there, but I think the rate I'm going, this is still going to be like a half-hour long video, so I apologize, but I like explaining my thoughts. So sorry if you don't like explanations. But anyways, Psychono, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. This show is awesome. I think I'm putting it high A, but it could very well be bottom S tier. I loved it so much. I mean, this is pretty much like probably my type of show. And no, not for the, cause unfortunately it was classified as an ecchi. Not for that. It just, I love like, I don't know if you want to call it slice of life, but like just slice of life romance type things like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a harem, but like, obviously, whether it's a harem or not a harem, I think I'll like it anyway, although I've already noticed that it looks like there's like 3 of them on here, so let's just ignore that. But no, I loved it. Again, unfortunately, it had to be classified as an ecchi because it kind of was, but disregarding those parts, it's a really good show. A really, really, really well-made like rom-com, and the finale movie just was the cherry on top for all of it. I mean, the finale movie is rated crazy high, and I can see why after watching it. Definitely loved it. Again, I'm just gonna start doing this for I guess all the harem shows. If I had to pick a best girl, Megumi's best girl. I don't care. The girl with no personality is the best. Now next up we have Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, and this one's a bit of a weird one for me because I read the manga for this before watching the anime. It's the only time I've ever done this, ever. I'm usually always in anime only for pretty much everything I watch, except this. This was the first time I wasn't. And I don't know if this is why, but I liked it, but I honestly liked the manga more. And I don't know if that's just because I read the manga first, or if the manga legitimately did it better. But, like, I liked it, but I wasn't, like, crazy about it for some reason. Like, I legitimately put it, like, low A tier, or maybe even high B tier. And I hate saying that, because, like, I love the manga for Kubo, but, like, I don't know why, I just, for some reason, was not crazy into the anime, and I don't know if it's just because I was a manga reader for it. I'll leave it bottom A for now, but if there's way too many things in the A, I might honestly bump it down to here. And again, I think it's great. I just, for some reason, like the manga a lot more, and I don't know if that skewed my opinion on the anime or what, but I don't know. Anyways, next up we have The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, which I can't believe this show somehow got announced for season 2 as well, but I'm so excited for it because it's really good. I wouldn't say it was like anything amazing though. I don't know how high I'd put it. Probably somewhere in here. We'll just put it maybe like here for now, I guess. It's somewhere in here. But I mean, there's not much to it. It's just pretty much one of the most wholesome and genuine like relationship things like you'll ever see like between the two main characters. Like it's not like any like I can't think of the word, but there's no like weird like things going on with it or anything. Like it's just really really genuine and wholesome. Like and I mean that's what makes it so good in my opinion. I really liked it. I can't believe that it's somehow got announced for season 2. My only complaint is that it just for some reason I just might be picky, but it looks like that they had no budget in making the show because there's at least a few shots every episode that just look weird. There's a lot of like still shots. So overall, the story wise, it's really good. I just wish they had maybe a little more budget. Hopefully they do in season 2. Now next up we have 2 sequels, so 2 like sequel seasons. So first up we have Mazamune season 2. I don't remember where I ranked this last year, but I think I honestly might have ranked it lower because for some reason I do not have great memories of season 1. But season 2 was like legitimately good in my opinion. Like good that I'd probably put it like somewhere in here good. We'll put it under Spy Family for now before I start controversies, but it was like legitimately good. I mean, I really liked it. I mean, it's nice. Season 2 basically wrapped up like the main story. There might be more yet. I'm not a manga reader, so I have no clue, but if we don't ever get another season, it kind of ended in a good spot now, where I don't remember where season 1 ended, but from what I know, season 2 ended in a much better spot. But like, it was legitimately good. I mean, I really liked it. So next up, we have Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Part 1, obviously. Season 2 Part 2 will be airing next year, so Mushoku Tensei will be on my tier list for the 3rd year in a row. But, I mean, this is up here. I'll put it bottom S tier, though, for now, just because Season 2 Part 1 was still really good, but it wasn't, like, as insane as, like, Season 1 was. And I think Season 2 Part 2 might get a lot better, especially from where Season 1 Part 1 ended. Season 2 Part 1 ended. I can't wait to see where that goes in Part 2, because thank God it finally happened. I'm not going to say what happened, but thank God. If you've seen it, you know. But Mushoku Tensei is amazing. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite anime. Again, I'm usually a huge, like, slice of life type guy, if you haven't noticed from my tier lists before. But, like, again, like I said with the whole Beast Tamer thing, every now, like, if it's like a really, really, really good isekai or fantasy or something, I get into it. Like, I don't care what genre it is. If it's really good, I get into it. Well, I shouldn't say that, because that might not be true for everything, but when it comes to fantasy and isekai, if it's really good, they can be some of, like, my favorite shows. But at the same time, if they're not, they feel like they could be some of the most average shows ever. But Mushoku Tensei is amazing. Please watch it. Again, it's just another show that I hate it. It's just locked behind this ecchi wall and, like, weird, like, pervy wall that, like, some people just will not get into it. But if you're able to overlook that, it's one of the probably best written stories I've, like, seen in anime, for sure. Okay, I think we have another, like, 16 or 17 shows to go yet, so I should really probably try to speed this up. I'm probably already, like, 15 minutes in, just to guess. But we have Skip and Loafer next. Now, Skip and Loafer I did briefly mention in a video earlier in the year, but it was really good. It's another hard one for me to rate, but it's somewhere high A tier, I would say. Again, it's just hard for me to rate because there's so many A tier shows that I've seen this year. I'll put it above Onima, I guess, but it's somewhere high A tier. I mean, it's just a really... Well, what else is there to say about it? I mean, I already made a video on it, so just go watch that, but, like, it's just another really good romance. I mean, there's not much to say about it. And next up we have School Live. A lot of times I just like to call it Gaku Garashi for some reason, the Japanese name. But I mean, it was good. It's not something I'm like crazy about, but it was good. I'd probably put it like maybe around here somewhere. I don't know if I'd put it above or below Tonikawa, but it's probably somewhere in here. Like, it was good, but I wasn't crazy about it for some reason. Like, yeah, it obviously takes twists and stuff. I'm not going to say what. But overall, I mean, I wasn't, like, obsessed or crazy about it. I think I'd put it there. And Miyaruko-chan, honestly, same kind of situation. Do I put it high B or low A? It's kind of like around, it's kind of in, like, the same, I guess, kind of category as Kubo is, I would say. You know what, we're going to do this for now. We're going to move these down to high B. And I don't mean this is, like, they're bad. They're, like, really high B tier. But, like, they're just barely not A tier, but, like, it's the same kind of thing. It was good. It was fun, but, like, I was expecting it to be better. Like there wasn't really much to happen. It was just it was just good. Like it was one of those shows that it was good. It wasn't like great or anything. It was just good. Um, and obviously, I mean, it's classified as horror, but it's just kind of scary looking monsters. It's not really like a legitimate horror because that's really hard to find in anime. Speaking of horror, we have Shadow's House next, which I wouldn't really classify as a horror either. It just kind of has like that whole spooky eerie vibe to it. But Shadow's House, I actually would say I liked a lot better. I'm not putting it like crazy high, but it's probably like mid A tier somewhere. I don't know exactly where I'd put it because Shadow's House was interesting. Um, it had some parts that I really liked, and then some parts that I kind of found a little bit like boring at times. It's somewhere. It's either before or after Spy Family. I really don't know. I'll put it under Spy Family just before I get hated on it. But I really liked it. Like, it had some parts that honestly were really, really good, and then some parts that kind of were just a bit of a drag. I think just because naturally, like, the whole kind of setting and vibe of Shadow's House is not normally what I go for, and I think that's part of the reason why. Um, so that's what I mean. Like, at times I really liked it, but at times it was kind of like, okay. But overall, I definitely liked it a lot, and I would definitely recommend. And next up, we have Canon, which the only reason I watched this is because I'm sure if you saw my video last year, I don't remember what I said, but I'm sure I ranted about Clanad to some extent, and that's literally the only reason why I watched the show, because I was really in the mood to watch another Clanad type show, and this is basically the predecessor to Clanad. It came before Clanad, and I mean, obviously it's nowhere near as good as Clanad, but I mean it gave me a lot of the same vibes and stuff as Clanad, to the point that yeah, I'd put it like high A tier. I don't know, would I put it above or under Psychono though? We'll put it under Psychono, but like I almost said Clanad. Canon was really good as well. I mean, it pretty much gave a lot of the same vibes that Clanad did, and that's exactly why I wanted to watch it. And I have a feeling for as long as I can find shows, I might just start making it a ritual to watch like another one every year. Next up would be what, maybe like Air or something. I don't know. And next up, I'm gonna rank this because I think I'm 14 episodes in right now, so I think that's enough to rank it for now. But we have Freerun, Beyond Journey's End. Obviously, probably one of the best anime from this year. I'm definitely ranking it S tier. Again, can it go above Attack on Titan though? It's like the Attack on Titan finale was just insane. I don't know if I can put it above that or not, but it's it's amazing. I mean, I think as me recording this, there's 14 episodes out, and it's going to be 28, so it's halfway done. But I mean, I think that's enough to have an opinion on it. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It's just such an interesting look at the passage of time and stuff, and how, like, she sees time differently and everything. That's kind of the whole idea of it, and then her like constantly flashing back to like old memories without going too deep into it. I mean, I'm sure there's been hundreds of people who've made videos on Freerun already about, and I'd basically just be copying them probably, but it's amazing. Please watch it if you're not. Again, another fantasy that's just so good, I don't care. I love it so much. Speaking of shows I love, Insomniacs After School I really like too, because if you obviously didn't see, I made a joint video with Skip and Loafer with this earlier on in the year, and I mean, for good reasons. I'll put it right above Skip and Loafer, but it was really good as well. It's kind of almost like what I said with The Angel Next Door, in a way where it doesn't really feel like it has like a bunch of, I still can't think of the word, oh my god, like, I guess like quirks and stuff. The way it's basically just like a really wholesome, genuine romance again between the two main characters, and that's what I loved about it so much. Like, there was no like weird goofy stuff or anything like that. Like, again, I already made videos on these two shows, so I'm not going to say much about them, but please watch them if you haven't, if they sound, again, like something you'd be interested in. Okay, we have 10 more things I think to get through. So next up we have Married, but I'm just going to say Married But Not Lovers. Um, Overall, I liked it. It's nothing crazy. It's probably on the mid to low end of A tier type shows, but it's probably like in here somewhere. I mean, I liked it overall. I don't know where exactly I'd put it to, for sure, but I mean, it's in here somewhere. I'll put it like here. It's probably like in here somewhere. I don't know. We'll put it here for now. But I mean, it's good. I liked it. It's nothing crazy. It's just like a typical romance show. Of course, guy likes one girl, but then he gets introduced to this other girl, and now all of a sudden he's starting to fall for that girl instead. And it's like, Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Although, for some reason, I always like the girl that I know is gonna lose. Because for some reason, like 99% of people like Akadi better, but for some reason I like Shiori better. I don't know why, I just do, and I'm sorry, but I just like her a lot more. But anyways, let's just move on. We have Hoshikuzu Telepath next, Stardust Telepath. This is another current airing fall 2023 seasonal, and I watched it just because it seems like something I'd like. Like, I mean, if you can't tell by some of these shows, I like some like kind of cuter type shows like this, and that's kind of why I watched it, because I was like, it looks like something I'd like, but for some reason, it's I like it, but like I'm not really crazy about it. Like, I'm legit not really that crazy about it for some reason, to the point that I think I'd honestly put it like down here somewhere. And I'm not even joking. Like, I don't know if I'd put it above or below Beast Tamer though. Um I think, like, honestly, I'm going to put it like here. Like, usually I like cute shows like this a lot, but for some reason just I cannot get super into it for some reason. And it's, if I would make like a cute girls doing cute things type tier list, it probably unfortunately would be one of the bottom shows on there, because for some reason I just can't get into it. Now, I mean, I don't think I really watched a ton of them this year. The only ones really on here is this show and this show, and maybe if you want to classify this show, but like the cute girls doing cute things shows I watched this year, oh well, there is one coming up yet, but like other than that, I don't think I was really crazy about a lot of them for some reason. Oh god. But next up we have Oshinoko. Again, it's like obviously S tier, but should it be above the Attack on Titan finale? This is where the problem is. Like, the Attack on Titan finale was absolutely insane, but at the same time too, I'm just judging the Attack on Titan finale, not the whole show. It's like, honestly, this should probably be here, but just for the heck of it, I'm gonna put Oshinoko on top. I mean, you've probably heard about the show a million times already. I don't know what else there is to say about it that hasn't been said by probably everyone in the community, but it's insane. Please, like, check it out if you haven't. It's insane. I've said this 100 times, but I loved it so much as well, more than probably almost everything on this list from this year. Like, obviously the huge twist in episode 1, even though I was kind of spoiled on it, it still hit me like almost just as hard. And just the whole direction of the show in general, just the fact that like you get to see such like a real side of like the show business type, like I can't think of a word, oh my god, but like you just get to see like the whole real side of like the show business industry and stuff, and it's so interesting and so like well made. Obviously all the characters are really lovable and everything. Like, it's such a good show. Again, would highly recommend. But moving on, I think we have the only like legit movie on this tier list, which is Weathering with You, Tenki no Ko. I think that's what it's called. um I don't know, I like it, but I'm not like crazy about it, again, for some reason. Like, to the point that I'd probably put it low A or like high B tier. Like, I don't know, I like it, but I'm not like crazy about it for some reason. I'll put it high B tier. Like, I don't know, just I haven't seen a lot of standalone anime movies, but out of the ones I have seen, it's probably one of the weaker ones for me, and I don't know why, it just is. I'm sorry, but yeah. But next up we have Run a Girlfriend. Obviously this is referring to Run a Girlfriend season 3, and I mean, obviously we know Run a Girlfriend is nothing like that great, but it's just a show that for some reason, even though I know it's not that great, I just for some reason cannot stop watching it, to the point that I'm probably giving it A tier. Probably somewhere around where Mazamune is, if I'm being honest. I'll put it here just for the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's nothing that great. I just for some reason cannot stop watching it, and I mean, if it wasn't for Sumi, I don't even know if I would be watching it, because Sumi is like one of my favorite girls probably of all time in anime. But like, I don't know. We all know Run a Girlfriend's nothing that great, but I can't stop watching it. And up next we have Demon Slayer, again obviously referring to Demon Slayer season 3. And honestly, like, it's good, but I wouldn't put it like crazy high. Like, to the point that I'd probably give it like high, I meant not high, like probably mid to low A tier. Where exactly would I put this though? Because like I don't really know. Like it's good, but like I wouldn't put it like. Do I want to put it above or below Spy Family? You know, I'm gonna put it below Spy Family just to like get people angry. I'll put it here maybe. Do I want to put Shadow's House above it? I don't know. I'll put it there for now, just to make people angry. No, but like that's close to where I'd put it. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna say much, but we have the ongoing whole thing of yeah, animation carries Demon Slayer, blah blah. No, but like honestly, I thought the storyline this season was pretty average, like pretty meh. I mean, most of the season literally was like I don't want to spoil it, but like a lot of the season was just one big event basically. Like there wasn't really loads and loads that happened this season, but obviously like normal, the crazy fight scenes were really fun to watch like normal. But like that's really all I have to say about it. But speaking of like shonen, we also have Mob Psycho, and this refers to all three seasons because I just watched this like the beginning of this year, and definitely is S tier. I mean, I'll even put it above 86 honestly. Like obviously Mob Psycho, amazing. If you've noticed, I don't watch loads and loads of shonen. I watch some shonen, but not loads and loads of them. But like, I mean, Mob Psycho, I absolutely loved. It was crazy. Obviously, it had crazy animation. Like, I don't really have like a single like thing to say about it. It's just it's amazing all around. It's like, would I say even masterpiece? Maybe I don't know, because that's obviously a really strong like opinion and word. But it was crazy. I really liked it, and moving on to something I really did not like for some reason was the girl I like forgot her glasses, which I'd legit put it like here. Um, Again, I usually like slice of life stuff, but every now and then there's just one that doesn't really click with me, and this one didn't really click with me. I don't know why. I think one thing I've always learned is that I'm a lot more into plot driven shows than episodic shows. And again, it doesn't have to have like a deep plot. Like for example, like Psycho, I would not say has a deep plot. Like these shows, I would not say have deep plots to them, but like they at least have some sort of continuation aspect to them, rather than just every episode is a standalone thing, which is pretty much what this show was. So I think it's a mix of that, and for some reason, I just really was not crazy about the characters in the show either. I think just that all together kind of made me be like about the show. I fell behind on the show, and I honestly it took me a while to catch back up with it. Like I think I finished it like a few weeks after it aired, but like, it was just really meh for me. But we have two more to get through, and these two shows are good ones. So I think the bottom tiers are pretty much set. First up, we have New Game out of the final two, and New Game I really liked. I mean, it's not like up here good, but it's definitely like middle A tier good. I mean, where exactly would I put it even? I don't really know. I'll put it above Zombieland. It's somewhere mid A tier. I mean, I really liked the New Game. Again, I wouldn't say it's anything amazing, or I would have put it like up here, but I really did like New Game. Um, I've always kind of had a passion for game type stuff too, so I mean, I think that kind of spoke to me a bit too. Like like the whole like like idea of the anime about game design stuff is definitely something I'm somewhat interested in too. So that really helped. And then you had cute girls on top of it. What else could you want? No, but really, I mean, it was really good. I don't know why. I haven't been mentioning this for every show, but if I had to pick best girl, it's he for me. I don't care what anyone else says, although I'm pretty sure she is like the fan favorite. So yeah. And coming up lastly, I did not mean to put this last. This is completely coincidental, but we have Hibike Euphonium, or in English, Sound Euphonium, and oh my god, this show is easily one of my favorite things I've watched all year, and probably is going to become one of my favorite anime I've watched overall between this year and everything I ranked last year, to the point that I'm putting it up here, potentially even here. But for the benefit of the doubt, I'll put it here. Sorry, Attack on Titan, I don't care. This show I honestly would probably prefer over Attack on Titan, like legit. So I don't know if this is a show I can make a video on, or if I'm just going to rant about it a lot here, but basically my whole backstory with this is I never was specifically in band, but I did orchestra in school for like pretty much 9 years. although a little bit, like a year to year and a half of that was kind of screwed up with COVID. But I did orchestra for how long? And I mean, not, I don't know if this matters, but like sometimes, I mean, we would play songs sometimes with like some of the band members too. So like, even though I was never directly in band, I was around band before, and even orchestra itself, like it has a lot of the same elements as band, I would say, even though it's obviously a little bit different. So basically, this anime just about a big like school concert band naturally spoke to me because I did school concert like orchestra when I was in school. And again, occasionally we had band join us for some songs and stuff too. So just naturally this anime looked like it was right up my alley, and I mean, it was directly up my alley, like maybe even more than that. I mean, like I said, to the point that it's one of my favorite shows from this year, maybe even one of my favorite, probably even gonna become one of my favorite anime overall that I've watched. Like, it was just so good. I loved it so much. And I can't believe it's getting a season 3 in just a few months. I'm gonna have to make a video about the spring season. I know I haven't made videos about all the seasons, but spring season is looking so absurdly stacked that I think I'm gonna have to make a video on it. But I'll try to stop ranting about the show. It's just amazing. If anything, it's made me appreciate band, I think specifically, like not orchestra, but band specifically even more than before. And I don't think I've ever been that emotional watching just some anime girls play a piece of music. Like, there was one episode, without spoiling too much, that was literally like a 7-minute long performance scene, and I was completely invested and like emotionally invested that whole time. It's insane. And of course Kyoto Animation does it because of course they do. Like they make everything they make is like perfection. But I think I'm gonna stop rambling. This is gonna be my final tier list. I'll debate if I wanna maybe like I don't know. We'll see if I'm feeling up for it. I'll cut here and maybe combine my lists or something. But I think this is already a pretty long video, so maybe I'll save that for another video, or like maybe later on. But yeah, this is my tier list for this year. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, maybe I haven't sparked too many controversies. I mean, I think I watched a lot of shows I really liked this year. Obviously, I'm not someone who watches like 500 shows a year, because I mean, there's only probably like 30 to 40 shows on this. Like probably only like, I don't know, somewhere around there, like 30, 40 shows on this list. But yeah, hopefully I can make this, a yearly occurrence. If I would start watching more shows, I could even do it like bi-yearly. If you want maybe bi-yearly tier lists of only like maybe 15 to 20 shows instead, just let me know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed another yearly tier list video. Even though it was shorter, I talked a lot more, so it's probably the same length still. But yeah, I think that's that. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully I didn't spark too many controversies, and I'll catch you all in my next video, which hopefully sooner than later, but I can't make promises.